I'm the Virgo Queen, here to awaken the divine consciousness. I do Mother Peace Tarot and astrological readings, and this weekly weather forecast is for the collective consciousness for December 12th through December 18th. And so when I first look at a reading, I look at the heart of the matter. And the first card is the significator, which is reverse world. Wow. So this past week has been quite transformative, and this week ahead is integrating all the change that has occurred. And so what this looks like in reverse world is that there has been this enormous change with the self, this internal awareness, perhaps even the outer world, but it has not reached its unconscious level. So the change hasn't become conscious yet, is basically what this is showing, that we are still feeling comfortable in the old ways, still doing the old things, but there has been this huge change within us, and that soon we will just simply awaken to the change and start moving forward. So if we've all kind of felt a little bit funny, or the fact that we have kind of lost our sense of identity, it's because it has been changed. And it was an internal change. And so soon the outside world will start looking different and feeling different, and our relationships evolving and changing and transforming. Because in the atmosphere, we have the Empress. And Empress is all about living and connected to nature and our internal well-being of abundance. And so these major arcanas are showing that our soul is needing this in order to evolve, that these cards don't change, that these cards are significant to experience on our journey. And so the Empress is teaching us that we really need to connect to the fact that we are abundant beings, and anything that you want to manifest in your life will come when you really sit down and look at your natural resources. And when I mean natural, I mean that look around you and see what is in your life and how you feed yourself, how you bring nurturing energy to yourself and others. How do you give this energy, and how are you receiving? And in the cross current, we have 10 of Wands. So with all this new change and this connection to your abundance, you are now believing that there are these infinite possibilities in which to explore, the different projects, the different identities that you can come and emerge and that have fire and passion to them. And so you may feel a little scattered, because usually at the beginning of an experience, we have this new insight, and then we start looking at all the different ways we can explore it. But try not to get too lost and still get focused on what really matters. And in the root, we have reverse justice. And this is a heavy card because it's a clearing of the old patterns, and in other words, old karma that no longer serves. And this is just showing that our energy needed to come in and clear this type of manifestation in our life. And what that means is that we can feel that there are things that seem unfair, unjustified, because, well, perhaps we're this really loving and caring person, and yet we attract this really selfish, manipulative person in our life that takes advantage of us. Well, in a previous life, perhaps we were those people that taking advantage of others, and now we have to see that polarity, that balance, and to experience it. So it seems unfair. Why me? Why now? Well, it is right now, because you're evolving from it, and there's compassion and loving for both sides. And that's how we really learn the whole cosmic law of cause and effect. Because whatever we do, whatever we say, all these things have weight, have energy behind them. And so learning how you really use your own energy, you'll be able to have a better understanding of what your mission is and how to clearly have a direct path in this life. And to just make peace with all the things that you know you cannot change, for they have happened before your time, and just to make peace with them and love them anyway. But in the sky, we have reverse Ace of Swords. And so our mental process is a bit negative. And so this root of unfair, unjust is having an effect on our mental world. And so we do have those limiting thoughts, those self-doubts, those fears that come up and feel like they are bigger than anything that you can truly create. So this is a test. And the fact that we are coming into this full moon in Gemini, and that Mercury is in its shadow period. So this is our shadow time with communication and our thought process. For Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication, and also our mind, how we communicate our thoughts, and what are we receiving from the gods, the messages, the signals, where are they leading us to? And sometimes this trickster energy can come in and make us misconceive those messages. And so ultimately, the biggest challenge is to heal those old patterns. Because in the center, we have reverse world. We know that there has been change, and that this is the last and final test. Full moons are about completions. What are we now having a completion for? And this is also, this huge year has been the number 9, which is about completions. And so we really have to look at what we no longer want in our lives when it comes to relationships or thoughts or patterns or habits. And is it coming from our mind? Because we can truly change our perspective. Because that is the golden rule of magic, is that by changing your perspective, a whole new world can be born. Because in the recent past, we had Priestess of Cups. So last weekend was kind of emotional, and people were a bit moody. And we were trying to express these big, beautiful emotions, but didn't have the space, or didn't have the time, or didn't feel comfortable. Or you felt that you were more emotional than usual, and that emotions kind of ruled your everyday experience. And that's okay, because when we dive deep into those emotional places, we're able to be set free and move forward into a new sense of self. Because in the self concept, we have 8 of Swords. So, you know how I was talking about changing your perspective? 8 is about change, and Swords is mental. So we are letting go of the old paradigm, no longer stuck between these two realities that don't really serve you, especially when it comes to what actually rules your world. When you understand it's your heart that rules and guides you, then everything else is just simply a different way. In our hopes and fears, we have Chariot. So this is showing that our soul is wanting victory, that we want this success. At the heart of us, we know that we're capable of succeeding. And so that's why we're having these polarities of feeling this karmic balancing in which we can feel like we have no control over, and this mental process of thinking that everything bad happens to us. Yet at the heart of us, we know that we can succeed. So remember the Chariot and know that you can overcome these things, just by letting go of what no longer serves. For in the future, we have reverse lovers. So what I was talking about, these completion cycles, a lot of it is shown through having to let go of relationships. Now, I would like to reconfirm or to bring more awareness of the idea of what relationships truly are. They are mirrors, they're aspects of ourselves. So, especially when we're in this evolving conscious community, we're wanting to constantly be evolving and choosing the right partnership that brings us happy, love, and joy. Well, partnership is also about getting grounded in your life purpose and feeling the support. And a lot of times that means people telling you how you really are and how we are so all different and unique. And the true meaning with this card is that we have to let go of those aspects of ourselves that are no longer working. And if that is represented in another person, forgive them for what they do not know. And if they're not part of how you want to move forward, if they don't believe that anything needs to change, yet you know something has to, you have to let go and trust that something bigger and more loving and more nourishing will come. And that means also with yourself. Let go of those bad habits. Let go of those self-defeating, self-doubt thoughts, because what are they really giving you? And so really just take time with yourself and say yes to what you want to receive and say no to the things that no longer serve you. And in the house, we have Daughter of Swords. So basically, we're impatient. That we want all of these amazing new life beginnings to happen now. We see the vision. We are on the mountaintop. We're protecting it. We have the courage. And we want it all right now. And in the outcome, we have Temperance. And she is showing that we are integrating this new change, that we are taking the knowledge and the energy and the wisdom and learning to just go with where it's leading us. And this energy is about connecting all of our elemental forces and really returning to the balance of both energies within, that holistic point of view, just like the center of the world in which we are. It's showing that we are moving into more of this tantric fusion of life, that we are both the masculine and the feminine, and that when we take those qualities, that we can truly integrate life with all its beauty and wild and miraculous creation. Hope this helps. Have an amazing week. And if you'd like a one-on-one or personal reading, contact me at www.innerdoorways.com. Have a beautiful day.